I'm making souls because we're still alive. No big, feel like a pot. Shoot a shot.
Thank you so much. You're live at CapCity Christian Church Student Ministry. We're going to get started with our worship service in just a few minutes.
I won't make it toast because we're still alive. No big. I feel like pop. I shoot the shot. I'm coming in serious. my life forward. You're the answer, Jesus. Oh, thanks for being us here, allowing us to be in a place where we're surrounded by people that are like-minded. You know that they're loved by you, and Jesus Christ is not going to give us a good example, give us something that we can take to every relationship around us. And I ask that be something that's on our hearts that we're waiting here today, all the leaders, so that when we leave this place, Father, we're closer to you and we're ready to follow the mission that you gave us, this purpose that you gave us. Help us to have a personal, wonderful relationship with you, Father. Help us to get personal with the people that are around us. This world needs you. We need it. And we're here listening to Jesus the Lord. Should I have a seat? What's up, everybody?
Hi, there.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi. Hi, Steve. Man, what an impactful song for exactly what's going on in our world right now. There you go. There's my life. Exactly what we're dealing with in this world. You know, we have a world that needs Jesus. They're broken, it's hurting. We've got things that are constantly popping up as red and Commonwealth, Franklin County. You know, people's nerves are heightened. Situations are changing, but you know, we're here because we can encounter an awesome God in the midst of it. So I hope that you will get to experience Him in a fresh way. Maybe you come tonight and you're kind of nervous about what's going on. You're kind of nervous what tomorrow might bring for your family, what it might bring for Commonwealth, all those different things. So I can promise you that He will meet you right where you are. So welcome, if this is your first time in a long time, welcome to CapCity students. We're excited you're here. We have a couple of announcements that I want to go over before we move into the rest of the service. This Saturday, we are having a Kingdom Worker Day. So that is November 21st. We're actually going to be heading over to the Capitol Mobile Home Park off of Georgetown Road, off 460, out past Forks and Elkhorn area, actually Forks up the church with the waters, there, Forks just past there. We're going to be offering a trash removal service. So the church has sponsored a dumpster to go out front, and then we have a couple of vehicles that will be going around for the neighborhood. Advertising is going out this week. And what we'll do is we will pick up old items that they would like to deposit in the dumpster, but they don't necessarily have the vehicle themselves to drag it all out front. So rather than have to try to do that themselves, we're going to help out. We will be providing gloves, but if you're going to participate, you want to dress for working outside. So keep in mind that you're working outside, not to watch weather and all that other stuff. We're going to be leaving here at 10:45 a.m. So we arrive over there in one of our shuttles. We'll be leaving at 10:45 a.m. and the work day actually from 11 to 1 p.m. So it's an awesome opportunity. I know we are big on kingdom work. I know that's a big component as we talk about throughout the year. So we're going to try to do as much kingdom work as we can. So you should be hearing about this one from your small group leaders tonight and throughout this week as well. All right, so tonight for our interactive, we're going to do the human pretzel activity. Now I know you're probably saying, well, we've done that one like a million times. Well, this one's going to be a little bit different tonight because it is going to be a speed round competition. And rather than having each group do it at the same time, your group's going to come down front. And whoever has the best time wins. So I'm now going to pass the mic off to Ryan, who's going to come up and give you instructions on how this works. She's like, I don't know how to do it. All right, so tell them how they're supposed to do it. A group of, what, 4 people, 5 people? A group? Well, I don't know if the small group itself will work. Just look at the numbers here. Maybe groups of 4 or 5? She's looking at me like, I don't know what it's done. So I'm going to speak on her behalf. Groups of 4 or 5?
Yeah.
You can come closer. They're not going to be able to read She gave up. Claps for Ryan for trying. We love you, Ryan. Great job. All right, let's get some groups going here. Oh, these guys are ready to go. High school's ready. Guys, high school guys. The 8th grade guys are lost because they're looking around for their leader. I'm your leader tonight, guys, so let me pass it over here just a second. All right. Now, does everybody understand what they're doing? All right, I need the first team down front. First team down front. First team right there. All right, Shane, your guys are down front. Give it up for the guys, the high school guys. All right, so let me get my lovely timer out here. Stopwatch is ready. Gentlemen, are you ready? All right, start. Ryan. All right, so let the gentleman try for real this time. Hold on, let's reset the clock. It's pretty clever. All right, are you ready this time to not let go and unpretzel? And go. Oh. Okay, yeah. So I've got 9.22. All right. You ready? Come down front. Can you all beat 9.22? When I said go, I hit start. You can't let go of your hand, so you're crisscross. So, yeah, you shouldn't have someone's hand next to you. But are you ready? Okay, the time to beat is 9.22. Are you ready? Go! And, oh, I'm sorry. And they gave up at 12.84. So high school guys, you're still in the lead. High school guys are still in the lead. Ladies, are you ready? Go! Whoa! How did that even happen? This is a do-si-do. You gotta have 5. Oh, you all found a loophole. The loophole of 2.29. Yeah. So come up with your most creative cheating, I guess, at this point. And go. 6.11. So without cheating, you'll have now just beat the high school guys. Is anybody left? Oh. And if you would like hand sanitizer, just as good drunkenness. We do have hand sanitizer in the student hub that I would encourage you to partake. Once again, give a shout out to our CapCity student YouTube audience. Yeah! Everybody watching or watching later, or we just watching later to see how this whole went tonight. I appreciate you, Ben, so we can watch this later. Yeah. Appreciate you. When we watch this later, it'll be us. Awesome. Guys, like always, we're glad that you're here. We appreciate appreciate you. You know, we got a great message coming for you tonight from Andrew. But one thing we've been doing lately is we've been letting our students share. So one of the reasons I brought Ryan up here is because Ryan actually had a great word for you. So check out this video.
Restart it. Go.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm an eighth grader at Oakhorn Middle School, and I've been a part of the CapCity students for 3 years. So our series is personal. Yeah, it's personal with our local guys, but as Christians and as Capital City students here, we're all in this together, and we're all on the same boat, and we're all in that setbacks, but we need to help each other push through those setbacks and get further in the love of Christ. I would say, you said the prayer that you just listen to them, like that Almighty child and everything else that I've been doing is really because every day, when if I take a step back from my book and I go back to you, I love you. You gotta be difficult when you have a prayer that's betrayed you, or when you have, like, an argument with somebody else and you both said words. Yeah, John 21:15-17. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon, Peter, Simon the son, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The third time, he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all things, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. We, as Christians, need to take care of the others that don't believe we need to lead them to Christ, and we need to lead them on with Christ. Because Jesus is always there for you, and He's never going to leave His life, even through your trials and your heartbreaks and your setbacks and things that have been taken from you. He's always going to be there by your side, helping you through these things. And yeah, there's going to be bad times in life, but He's going to be there for ones to make you stronger through that and make you a better person. Guess what? You belong here.
Listen to what I have to say. If you're not a big person, why is it okay? What I want you to do is think about these words. Even if you struggle with trusting these words, even if you don't believe them yet, I want you guys to say, right? Just when you say, I will build my life, just close your eyes. The person beside you is not saying it, but just close your eyes. I want you to be able to say, I will build my life on your love. Say the words, I will build my life on your love. This is my firm foundation. Say those words, this is my firm foundation. I will put my trust, I'll put my trust in you alone. I will not be shaken. This world will try to shake us. This world does it all the time. Much older than you are. So I've been able to experience things that I hope that you learn. I hope you learn from us. I hope that you learn from God's word. I hope that you learn from the things I'm telling you right now. Firm foundation to find Jesus Christ is the only one that will help you through this life. It is the only one. Everything else will just put you in another spot. Everything say those words, when we sing the words, I will put my trust in you because I know you live a life for Jesus Christ. And you live a life that's about love. And you let him be the one who lives. Father, change us right now. Change us so that we can want us to be people of love and reach out to those who are in need. This world needs more of you. We need more of Jesus. Many of the people don't want to see more than we act. Convict us and change us tonight. Let us be different when we walk out these doors when we first got here. Let us be people that love even when people are not very loving to us. Teach us how to show love. We build ourselves on this foundation, the foundation of Jesus Christ. For the people that love. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Hey, I'm Christian, and when I was in high school, I kind of messed up. It was really dumb. In fact, it was so bad that I'm not going to tell you what it was. I didn't want anybody to know what happened because it made me feel embarrassed and really like a hypocrite. So eventually, I ended up telling my small group leader, and he said that Jesus doesn't just love parts of me, but he loves all of me. I learned that he loves me no matter how badly I messed up. And it really surprised me, but I felt so relieved. Listen, I get it. None of us wants everybody knowing our business, but I needed somebody to know my whole story, including what I've done, because it's not just a mistake or a memory. It's personal.
Hello, everyone. Hello, audience. Hello, YouTube audience. For those of you who do not know, as you can see behind me, hopefully, my name is Andrew Mackey. I am one of the small group leaders here for the middle school boys. And I am also married to Lexi Mackey. So for those of you all who know her and spend a little time around her, if you see me lurking in the background, yeah, that's me. Now, one other thing I need to know is I need to know your all's names. So, on the count of three, I need you to tell me your name, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Melvin.
Lovely. Now that we're all acquainted, we can begin. So I think we can all be honest here and say that we are not perfect. Yeah? I won't ask you to raise your hand, but pretty sure that every one of you has done something wrong, and I know that I have done lots of things wrong. For instance, when I was in college, I was taking a class on thermodynamics, which is probably just about as hard as it sounds. And we had a test. And on that test, you were not allowed to use a note card. But we had so many formulas, and it was so difficult. So what I did is I had myself a little graphing calculator. And I could program into that calculator my formulas and put them on a little page off to the side where nobody else could see it. And so when the test came around, if I needed to, you could pull up those little formulas and cheat. It's not good, don't do it. This is not an example of a thing to do, but I wanted to let you know that that is one thing that I did. So every time the teacher would come around during that time, I would either turn my calculator off or I would move it to a different page. I had to hide. I couldn't let them see what I was doing because I was afraid of what the consequences would be if they caught me. And that's the way we all are. For as long as humanity has been here, every time we do something wrong, we try to hide it because we're afraid of the consequences. Adam and Eve, the first humans on earth, when they committed their first sin, what did they do? They hid. They hid from God. Because that was what they had to do to try and avoid the consequences, and maybe he wouldn't find out, even though he always finds out. Sometimes we hide from family, sometimes we hide from friends, and sometimes we might even try to hide from God. And that might be because in your life you have heard people say things like, He's just up in heaven watching you, hoping that you mess up, so that when you do something wrong, he can zap you, or do something like that. Or maybe you've heard that instead, He does love you, but only if you're doing the right things. And every time you do something wrong, he gets mad. And he's just upset. He turns his back on you because you disappointed him yet again. And if that's you tonight, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've had that example set for you, maybe by the church. And I certainly hope not. But if so, I'm sorry, because that is not the God that we serve. So, to illustrate how God sees you, I need a volunteer. Anyone, I need a volunteer. Oh, Eric, I see that hand.
Go, Eric.
That's okay. I will stay 6 feet away from you. Now, sir, thank you for being so brave. I have in my hand a dollar bill. Would you like this dollar bill? Okay, well, hold on. I've now folded up this dollar bill. Would you still like it? Okay, so that didn't bother you, all right? I'm gonna crumple it up here. Oh, no, you still want it? Okay. All right, well, here's a nice trash can that I brought up here on stage. I missed. That time I didn't. Do you still want it? All right. You know what? I don't even know where it is. So, for being such a good participant, there's actually another dollar bill over there on the corner of the stage. You can have that one. Thank you, sir.
Good job, Eric.
So, in case you all couldn't quite follow that, we are like dollar bills in this case. We have a value that is assigned to us by someone other than ourselves. And no matter if we're crumpled up, if we are in the trash, it doesn't matter. We still have value. God still loves us. But don't just take my word for it. Let's take a look at what we see in Scripture of the story of Jesus, who was God in the flesh, and see how he treated people. The first person we're going to look at is Zacchaeus, because that's who we've been talking about in this series. You all know the story. Zacchaeus he had to climb up a tree so that he could see Jesus. And Zacchaeus was not the kind of person that most people wanted to hang out with, wanted to spend time with. He was a tax collector. So he was a liar. He was a thief. He stole from people. And according to the Jews, he was a traitor. He had sided with the Romans over them. So they didn't want to have anything to do with it. But Jesus, as he was coming through, he pointed out Zacchaeus up in that tree. And he said, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house today. I want to spend time with you. I care about you. But that's not the only story that we see that shows this. We also can look at a story in John chapter 8. Starting in verse 3, it says, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say? They were using this question as a trap in order to have the basis for accusing them. So we'll take a break right there. And we have this woman in this scene. She was caught in the act. She is guilty. Clearly, everyone else around her knows what she did. And they're saying that they want to kill her. They want to stone her. And I'm sure that she is expecting that Jesus will agree with them because it's in the law of Moses. That's the way it has to be, right? But what we see from him is actually very different. Jesus then bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, If any one of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw a stone at her. Again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? No one, sir, she said. Then neither do I condemn you, Jesus declared. Go now and leave your life of sin. Jesus was the one person who was good enough, who hadn't sinned, the one person who actually could justifiably have done something about this woman's sin. But instead, he says he does not condemn her. He shows her absolute truth with absolute grace. He points out that what she has done is a sin and that she needs to stop. But he also tells her that he doesn't condemn her for it, that she still has value, that he still loves her and cares about her. So in this story, we see that no matter what you have done, God still loves you. And another example that we see is with Peter. Sorry, my mouth is very dry, that's why I brought this. Ryan actually read this in her video. I did not know she was going to do that, but thank you. You have made my job that much easier. You all already heard the story. But let me back up just a little bit. In Matthew 26, starting with verse 69, you see Peter was sitting out in the courtyard, and the servant girl came to him. You also were with Jesus in Galilee, she said. But he denied it before them all. I don't know what you're talking about, he said. Then he went out to the gateway, where another girl saw him, and said to the people there, this fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth. He denied it again, with an oath. I don't know the man. And after a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, surely you are one of them, for your accent gives you one. Then he began to call down curses on himself, and he swore to them, I don't know the man. And immediately a rooster crowed. Then Peter remembered the words Jesus had spoken. Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. So we see Peter, he's one of the good guys, right? He's somebody very close to Jesus. And yet in this story, we see him cuss, we see him lie, we see him betray Jesus. So not once, not twice, but 3 times. And it crushed him. But that's not the end of his story. Because as Ryan showed us, he later interacts with Jesus again after the resurrection. And Jesus asks Peter, do you love me? And 3 times Peter says, you know that I do. And Jesus' response is, then feed my sheep. Jesus tells Peter that he still has a job for him. He knows exactly what he did. He predicted it. He told him that he was going to do it. But Jesus he still loves him, and he still has a job that he wants him to do. We later see that Peter goes on to preach the first post-Jesus sermon on the day of Pentecost and leads 3,000 people to Christ in one day. He becomes one of the central figures of the early church. Yes, he had messed up in the past, but God still loved him, and he still wanted to use him. And just like what he did with Peter, God knows what you've done. God knows what I've done. And he still wants to use us as well. Now that might seem like it's too good to be true. Like there's no way that God would truly love me after what I've done. You don't know how bad I am. You don't know how many bad things I've done and how soiled I am. I'm too far gone in these things. But that's where we go to Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8, verses 38 and 39 say, for I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Did you hear that? Nothing. They give you an entire list there. It doesn't matter. Nothing can separate you from God's love. Even if what you did caused a permanent situation. Even if you keep struggling and you keep doing the things that you're doing. Even if you said that last time was going to be the very last time, but it really wasn't. Even if, fill in the blank, whatever, it does not matter. There is nothing that can separate you from God's love. You see these stories all throughout the Bible. Zacchaeus, the woman caught in adultery, Peter, Paul, Abraham, Jacob, David, every one of the apostles who abandoned him. And me. God used me too. The last time I was on this stage, I spent a good 15 minutes talking in excruciating detail about how badly I had messed up, and how long I had stayed hidden, and how I kept repeating the same sin over and over and over. But God didn't give up on me. He didn't stop loving me, and I certainly hope He's not going to use it. And it can be the same for me. All you need to do is accept the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. His blood is what covers us, it's what saves us, and it's what bridges the gap between us and God that our sins create. And it's that sacrifice that we remember every week with our communion time. That's what we're going into right now. For those of you all who may not have your communion elements, we go get those. But all it is a symbol of Jesus' sacrifice. You have the bread that represents His body that was broken, torn for us. And you have the juice that represents His blood. The blood that covers us and that makes us pure again. So spend some time now remembering what Jesus has done for you. Guys, I've got one last little piece here. For those of us who have accepted Jesus and called him Lord, then we are called to be more like him. John 13, verse 34 and 35 says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, you must love one another. And by this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Did you catch that, guys? The same way that he loves us is how we have to love one another. So if Jesus can love anyone no matter what, that's the love we have to show too. When your friend lies about you behind your back, you still have to love them. When someone steals something from you, you still have to love them. Anything else you can think of, you still have to love them. Now, I'm not saying that means you have to let them be your absolute best friend, or that you have to let them keep hurting you over and over and over again. But you've got to be willing to forgive them. I can't say exactly what it'll look like, but when we wear the name Christian, little Christ, when we wear that name, we have to show the same kind of love that he did, no matter what. We all pray with me. Lord, I thank you so much for allowing us to gather here today. I thank you for your truth, your grace. I thank you that you love us no matter what we do. And I hope that you remind us of that love every day of our lives. Lord, please help these students and myself and everyone else. Help us to show that love, that no matter what kind of love to others, and transform our hearts to be more like your Son, Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
King among kings came to serve, washing my feet, covering me with your love. Take everything, if all of you is all of me, take everything. Keep my life and my treasure, one that I can't live without. Here in your feet, my desire to dream by day now. Here in your feet, my desire to dream by day now. Oh, you bless me, take everything. It's all of you, it's all of me, take everything. It's all of you, take everything. It's all of you, it's all of me, take everything. Baby, I love you today. Giving my heart in your hands. Father, I pray, make me
Relationship. Everything that I desire, and I push forward my prosperity, I can see the one is in control, total control. Struggle with certain relationships, and struggle because I don't want to act like Jesus will be there. So I just want to relinquish control of that right. You want more? And you in my life, I'll have to tell you. Eliminate the pieces of me that is people. I want to see more of Jesus Christ in my own life. I want to see it in this room. I want to see you make an impact in this world. I'm going to have to surrender to the as we sing these words, Father. Let it be true in every person. You means less of me. Take everything. It's all of you. It's all I need. Take everything. Give all of you. Means less of me. Take everything. It's all of you. It's all I need. Take everything.
You go ahead and see, guys. I'm so glad to hear. Again, I know things different. You look around, like, where's my small group leader? Running around, doing sound and different stuff like that. So I appreciate you being patient with us as we transition. Now, I hope you were listening to what Andrew shared tonight as he poured his heart out. I know several of you over here, but you weren't here. You catch that. The last time Andrew spoke on the stage was our first online service. We shut everything down. And Andrew was on that stage, and we launched everything on YouTube. So every YouTube channel we're out there waiting to now. And he spoke on the stage without you guys here. And I just think it's an awesome opportunity that we got to come back and bring that message once again. But this time we were here to see his emotions. We were able to see live and in person. So give Andrew a hand for speaking. That was awesome. Like I always mention, if you ever want to share, you've got something on your heart, talk to me. It's we have a student leadership team that gets together and makes a lot of plans, does a lot of stuff. That's why you see a lot of similar faces that are on videos and stuff like that. But if that's something you feel God's putting on your heart, then come to the office, if you have your service one night. I would love to talk to you more about sharing your testimony or you're sharing an upcoming series. Yeah, I plan everything out usually about 3 months in advance. Now, God willing, we change things, but other than that, we'll find out 3 months in advance so we can get you into that line. Our last week of our series, this series, is next week on the 22nd. So that's going to wrap up the It's Personal series. And And Bo will be here sharing his testimony. So if you know Bo has an awesome testimony. If you've ever heard it before or heard it in a small group. So he'll be sharing part of that as we wrap up how it became personal for him. So I hope you come back next week as we wrap that up. Now, Noah's going to be skipping our small group slides. I just want to go over a couple things since there are some faces that are missing tonight. You might hear some changes. Ladies, you all are pretty much the same because most of you all are here tonight. So middle school girls, you're still going to be with Tara and Melissa tonight. We have our high school group with Becca. So if you're with Becca, Becca's here. She's over there. And the other high school girls group is with Jess and Lexi and Haley. So we will be going to the loft like normal. And then for guys, middle school guys, you are with Andrew and Zach. So Zach is back in the back. So he's back in the back on Andrew, so you'll move them. If you're an 8th grade guy, guess what? You get me. Ha! Hey, everybody. 8th grade guys, you're with me. I know you're super excited because I know we're going to hang out with you all as much, so that'll be cool. And then high school guys, Shane is back. He's back with me for this week to talk with you all. And Jack is back. Jack is going to be joining you as our honorary leader tonight. Woo! One of his leadership trials as a senior. We like to throw the seniors out there because that's some leadership opportunities. So Jack will be joining you as a leader tonight. So have a great time at Smoker.
They probably went up there like,
Is
Ben ever going to show up?
Yeah, at least I've got I've got Zach, so he can be up there entertaining them while
I was like, oops, my bad, guys.